Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of Wordle with Art. Today we're going to solve Wordle number 736 for Sunday, June 25th. Yes, we are. And as you saw from the thumbnail and from my title, I think there's some interesting occurrences that have to be laid out. Yesterday, we had a French Wordle challenge, didn't we? Every word, with the possible exception of the answer, had to be entered in French. And guess what? The answer was grand, which is probably one of the most commonly used words in French. They say c'est pas grand-chose, which means it's no big deal. Un grand merci is a big thanks. Cela me donne grand plaisir, it gives me great pleasure. And il est grand pour son âge. He's tall for his age. I mean, they use it every day, all the time. So I don't know. Is it coincidence? I don't know. But I could also refresh your recollection that on June 19th, the challenge was Jazzy Nanny. What was the answer? Kazoo! Where the A and the Z immediately lit up in position, much to the delight of everybody who did that challenge. On April 30th, as we were rounding out the final day of the challenge in April month, we had to use J, Q, X, Z, and they had to be in alphabetical order. Guess what the answer was? Plaza, P, deep in the alphabet, and had the Z, okay? So it made it much easier to figure out what the answer would be. And then on April 25th, probably one of my most evil challenges, a diagonal of J's, okay? A diagonal of J's. And what is the answer? Joker! So all I can say is, Tracy Bennett, we love you. And if, you're kind of spying on my channel, so be it. I think it, it bodes well for these challenges. That's all I can say. All right, guys. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and see what's in store for today's challenge. Maybe she set up a word where it will be impossible for us. What's the challenge? To do a diagonal word. Okay, we're going to start in the upper left corner, and we're going to create a word going diagonal all the way down to the fifth row. And if you're lucky, you could even have it so that that final guess ends on that letter. That would be super cool, but it's not required for the challenge. All right. I guess you guys can predict what I'm going to start with. Yes, it's going to be slate. Okay. And again, these are difficult because you also are trying to solve the darn Wordle, right? Okay. Now, the two best words here are going to be diner, and I have also in my algorithm defer. I have diner and defer. Now, if I were to go with diner, so what I'm basically asking myself is which is easier to create a word, SE or SI? I think both diner and defer are really good. Defer will give us better information on the position of that E, but I is a valuable letter. I mean, if I were to do the SI, I should be able to do something like, I mean, I could do silly, but that's going to be very silly because I'd prefer not to reuse the L, even though we could have a Y. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of words that begin SI, but I'm just not seeing too many. So I'm kind of leaning away from that. Now let's consider my next best word, which is defer. So now here, it's looking a little bit better. I could do, I mean, if the thing ends in ER, that would be perfect. I could do like sever. Yeah, okay. I'm going to stick with SE, okay, and aim for the word sever going diagonally, but it might change according to what happens. Okay. This is pretty good. This is really good, right? And thankfully, it is not an ER trap, so we're looking pretty good. Again, we always have to start thinking about what the word could be. It could be IED, in which case it could be, okay, it would be maybe like, it's not, it could be cried. Past tenses are sometimes there, but they tend to do more like irregular past tenses, so I'm not sure about that. I mean, it would actually not be a terrible word to try, though, because I would confirm if it did end in ED. And but now I have to be careful, and I'll be sort of messing up my thing there, won't I? I mean, I used to be a really phenomenal speller, but I lost a little bit of interest. I mean, I think you could do C's, Seize, but I want to be careful, and I'm not going to look it. I'm not going to look it up. So maybe we won't do that, and maybe we will just stick to perhaps the sever. Or I could do, I could do sense. So now I have to get an N here. This challenge is not trivial, huh, guys? So if I do an N there, and I do sense, which is not that great because I'll be reusing that S and the E there slightly unnecessarily. I should be able to form words with those. That shouldn't be a problem. Let's see if there's something better. I mean, if I did sever, actually I could do seven. That would be pretty good. That would be pretty clever. And yeah, why don't we could go with seven, and now we could do drive. Not very good. I don't want to reuse the D there, but we don't have to be in hard mode, so we could just use another letter. But the V has to be in the middle now, right? So, how about, oh, this is actually not bad. I mean, how about, coven? Get the C, O, and the N looked at. Nice. Okay, good. Now we're really getting close. That is fantastic. Because the R has only two positions and the D has only two positions. Now, I think it could be rodeo. Okay, it could be rodeo. So if it were rodeo, sadly, we're not going to be able to finish it in 5 in really nice style. I can't think of a word that would go SEV blinked O. But that's okay. But we have to make sure it's rodeo. So we have to do everything we can within our power right now, right, guys? To go ROD, and then let's just do, oh, shoot. Can't do rodeo right now, right? And I wouldn't have fulfilled the challenge. Is roads a word? Yes, it is. Oh, perfect. Now, I actually do want to be a little bit careful. That would be unbelievably terrible if it ended up not being rodeo. Okay? So let's just be super careful. Rotor, I don't think would be a word. R-O-D-E-R. Roadie, no. Rodu, rodep, roded. Rodex, rodeb, rodem. No, I think we're safe to go with rodeo. Oh, man. So, and I can't test the O at the end because we have to stick to 7. Don't we? Shoot. So I guess I could be kind of cute and just put 7 there. So we spell the word in 2 directions. There it is. There's the 7 diagonally, right, guys? S-E-V-E-N. That's pretty cool. And now we got to pray that this is rodeo. Yes, it is. Oh, these are scary. I mean, you just never know because she is pulling out new words. And you never know if it could just be some crazy word we haven't heard of. That's, not one of the mainstream words. All right, guys. Well, that was pretty cool. We did it. I suspect that some people might be able to do that in style and end it in the O, but probably not. It'll be unusual for people to pick a word that would end in O, but I'm very happy with that. Okay, so now we have some updates to do, don't we? And then, oh boy, God, guys, wait till you see what's up for the new challenge for tomorrow. Some of you are going to absolutely hate me, and some of you, I think, are going to I don't know about love me, but I think you'll find it pretty cool. So let's go ahead and transition out of that. And believe it or not, I have to give you guys an update on taste, because we have a very honest player by the name of Cynthia May. And she informed me that she did not see her result appear in Guano because she remembered that she got a 3. So guys, as a result, I'm happy to announce that her honesty has now put Few in first for taste. Okay, this is from the taste challenge. So what's the deal? The deal is now that Few comes in first. No change to our result. We still had the 1.92, but remember it was razor thin. But because Guano was honest and we put in Cynthia's 3, Guano is now has an average of 2. Okay, so I'm very, I feel really terrible. Believe me, guys, I feel absolutely crestfallen. But now Guano is second and Few is first for taste, and the other two stayed the same. And so I'll show you the final team standings once we get through Covet, okay, because it'll reflect the change due to Cynthia's honesty. All right, and now Covet. It's the reverse video, okay? So Guano is now first, barring any, updates, but I did definitely see that your results were there, Cynthia. So thank you for being honest again. So Guano was first. Few came in second. And look at that, guys. We had perfect participation. We had 10 people do the challenges, which is I'm absolutely thrilled with. You can't ask for more than that. Snafu is third and ER Trap is fourth. Now, the one thing that is a little bit, I guess, I don't know if I want to say annoying, but it's just something that I want to, just kind of put out there. Guano had only 10 people play. And I know a lot of people were furious with me for instituting kind of like a penalty for not having, good representation. I mean, 10 out of 14, 5 out of 7, that's about 70%. That's not great. But here's the other thing that's really troublesome. So, we had one player from Guano storm out because they were not happy at all with the inclusion of the challenges. And I do believe that person played in regular mode. So you're effectively losing scores that would have probably been 3s and 4s. Okay. So there, that result is gone. And on top of that, there's another player who is just a fantastic person, but delivers very late results. And they also have not been doing the challenges. So in effect, Guano is sort of just getting kind of like a nice little boost. And, it's okay. I mean, it's only a game and everything, right, guys? But, I just sort of want to point that out and maybe encourage Guano to, at least try to use all of their 12 remaining players, okay? Technically 13, because the other person is in the team, but just hands me my results after I've already done the compilation of the tally and everything. So it's too late for me to go back. All right, guys, so there you have it. The result is as is. And now let's take a look at the results for Covet, which takes us to June I think June 23rd. Yes, it does. So ER is last at 33. Snafu gained a point from Covet, so they're at 43. Few is at 68, and again, that's taken into account the adjustment that I had to make with taste. And Guano is at 86. So an 18-point differential. At this point, unfortunately, I think it might be either a tie or it might be too late for us to take out Guano because they seem to, if they don't get first, they get second. And that's basically a net of 3 points. And 3 times the remaining 5 days is like 15 points. Yeah, I think it's almost a mathematical impossibility. Unless, guys, I'm talking to Team Few, we just, kind of go all out and, and maybe Guano suddenly comes in third. Okay, that would be the only way I can see it happening. However, are you guys ready for the challenge for tomorrow? Now, this thing could bust things wide open. Here's the challenge. Okay, the challenge is as follows. You're going to use 5 previous answers from June 2023. Okay, not 4, but 5. So this is a guaranteed 6er. Okay, this is guaranteed a 6. Because we don't reuse previous words. And now I'm going to introduce something I think super cool. And again, some of you might hate me and some of you might absolutely love this. So here's the deal. There's going to be different points awarded for this particular challenge depending on how aggressive you want to be. Okay, here's the deal. So Out of those 5 words, did you notice, as you see them on the screen here, that there were 3 very sneaky, very tricky words? And they, of course, were jazzy, nanny, and kazoo. Okay, here's the deal. If of your 5 words that you use one of them, believe it or not, you will get a score of a 0. So in other words, if you do the challenge and you use 5 words other than jazzy, nanny, and kazoo, and you succeed the challenge and you get the word on the 6th guess, you're going to get a 1, just as we do for all the challenges. However, if you use one of jazzy, nanny, or kazoo, then you will get a 0. If you use 2 of them, you're going to get a -1. And if, are you ready, guys, you use all 3 of jazzy, nanny, kazoo, you will get a -2. And that would almost certainly, if a few, people are willing to go for it, that will almost certainly guarantee victory for that team. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and demonstrate. Now, which one do you think Art is going to pick? Which version of that challenge do you think Art is going to pick? That's a good question. I think I'm going to go for, and you can do this one of 2 ways, guys. You could sort of like tiptoe your way into it with one of the really good words, maybe like crime, and then based on the outcome, then you could stick in the jazzy nanny, and then maybe even the ultimate kazoo, and then you'd still have 1 guess left on the 5th, and then you have to commit on guess 6. So it's going to be extremely scary. Personally, I'm going to go with jazzy, nanny, kazoo up front first, and then I can always elect to bail, okay? All right, so I got nothing out of jazzy. Let's go with nanny and pray for an N, okay? Let's go with kazoo and pray for an O. Okay. Now, guys, tomorrow when I do it, for the actual real live Wordle solve, I will not refer to a list, but if you don't mind, I'm just going to take a peek at my little list here. So I think the next best follow-up word of the ones that we have would be crime. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Ooh, okay, so we have an E. All right, so we have an E. So let me just take a peek here. What would be the best word to use? Let's see. What would be the best word to use? Honestly, I think I'd be pretty much screwed here. Yeah, and remember though, this is the complete list. I'll have better chances tomorrow because I have a very good memory of the previous words that we've used. I think this is basically a disaster. I mean, actually, the funny thing is, plunk is not bad because you get the PLU. Shyly wouldn't be terrible. Shyly wouldn't be terrible. The only thing is, yeah, the Y is already used. What would be the best word here? Frost is not that good. This is a really terrible situation. Okay. And obviously, I probably would have called it quits after nanny and gone for the score of -1, which would still be really good. I don't know, guys. I think I'm going to go with maybe, I know it looks crazy, but I sort of feel like, oh man, this is really tough because, you're only limited to the list of words that we've used. I mean, beast actually gets you positional on the E and the S and the T. Maybe beast, okay? Maybe beast. All right, but this is still pretty much, I probably have at least 10 words available, so I've got like a 10% chance of getting this. What about, let's see. Well, I guess the good news is there's most likely not going to be a U. It could be Welsh. I'm not going to waste time. Let's just go for Welsh. Whoa, guys, that was insane. Oh my gosh. You have to admit, that was pretty good. Guys, please shower me with a lot of praise. I only wish that this was the actual one because I don't think we've had Welsh yet. That would be absolutely insane. Oh man, that was very good. For those of you who do who don't skip around and watch the entire thing, you have to admit that was absolutely phenomenal. What do you think, guys? All right, guys. Well, with that in mind, think carefully about what direction you'd like to go. Think carefully about which words you'd like to use, okay? And by the way, you can do it one of two ways. You can either just commit to a 5-word combo, or you can adapt based on your outcome. And I don't mind at all if you want to just have the list of those previous Wordles. I think there's, let's see, yeah, 20. I think there should be 24 of them. I have no problem whatsoever if you want to have those 24 words next to you so you can figure out which ones to use as you adapt to the different information that you get from each guest. All right, guys, a long video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was actually pretty cool. And with that in mind, yes, I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow with yet another edition of Wordle with Art.